Welcome to Shrink Wrapped. I'm Allison Colarossi here with Dr. David Colarossi, and I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Excited to talk to you also. Let me start with the story, a parenting story, but I know that the punchline is that I didn't do a great job. It wasn't my best performance. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. So you come home and you have to go to a dinner or work dinner, so I've got to take the kids to basketball. So you go to basketball and they get there and the kids, we walk right in, they're divided up into two teams. One group is Leno's group. Leno's just turned 5. Everybody else is 6 and 7. And Leno is
so cute.
But he looks like a 3-year-old in comparison to everybody else there. Leno goes there and immediately takes a nap. He is sleeping on the hardwood floor within like 3 minutes. By the way, and let's just say we're there for 3 minutes. In that 3 minutes, he has run back and forth to me to rehydrate from all the exercise that he's getting. Like the kid is bloated and then takes a nap on the hardwood floor.
He doesn't do that with me.
Well, and then Enzo's group is doing like just calorie burner things. So the first thing they start off doing is, like a lap around the hardwood floor. And then they do suicides, which is like where they don't call them suicides anymore. They're like lovers or like happies or something like that. They don't want to use the word suicide. So, this is where you go like from, when I grew up, you go from the baseline to free throw line, back, half line, back, other free throw line, back, baseline, and back. So they do that, and that is, Enzo does well. He participates. We're all good. Then we move to actual gameplay. And, kids they clump together, and they're just passing the ball like 4 feet to each other, okay? The hoops are lower. I mean, it's an 8-year-old's game. Enzo is 25 feet away from where the ball is the whole time. And I'm watching, I'm going like, it's just no big deal, I don't care. You're just playing basketball, it's fine. But he's like going up and down. He never gets the ball from anybody, not because he's not good enough. He's good at shooting. He's probably better at dribbling than everybody else. But he never gets the ball because he won't engage. He's just too passive. He won't engage. And so I think, Father, what I'm going to do is I'll take a picture of it. That way he'll see and he'll be able to go look at the game tape and revise his performance next time. So I do that. Then we get home and I say, Enzo, I loved how hard you tried. Enzo, I loved how, you beat some kids in the sprints. Great job. Your dribbling looks fantastic. Hey, but there's this one thing that you could do a little bit better, which is engage in the actual game when you're playing it. And then Enzo's goes, Dad, you don't. Dad, it's about spacing. I was like, he's, you know what I mean? Like he's just talking about like he's really like, I obviously don't understand the game. It's like, okay, let me show you on my phone. And I put the phone on I scrolled the picture. It was just over the clump of kids playing where the ball was. And then I go, where are you? And he's like, I'm not in there. And then I scroll over like 4 swipes to Enzo, who's on the, almost out of bounds. And I go, there's no way the ball's going to get there. And he got sensitive about it. And then I'm like, well, but you did a great job. But that did not land well. That wasn't my finest parent. I should have just said, I don't care and let the coach deal with it.
I think learning how to take feedback is an important skill. It's a gift, David.
I gave him a gift. You give me lots of gifts.
I do think it's important. We have to teach him how to take feedback, There's
probably not a lot of fathers out there that are taking videos of their 8-year-old playing basketball, though.
Maybe not, but I'm more concerned that you let Leno lay face down.
He was terrible.
I think he never does that with me. He always plays.
He came back. I could not get him off my lap.
I think,
and he goes back there, and then I finally go, Leno. I put him up on my lap. I said, look, we're here to play basketball. We came all the way here. You need to play. And if you don't play, you're going to be frustrated at the end of this because Enzo is going to get a piece of gum. You're not going to get gum if you don't play. So I'm like, okay, now I'm going to bribe him. And he goes, okay. So then he runs out there, gets right into the mix of all the kids, takes a nap on the floor. And then the coach is like, what do I do with this kid? And she's like trying to get him he won't even get off the floor when the coach is saying get off the floor.
I think
he's like a zombie out there.
I think this time change has been rough for Leno. I have also felt really roughed up by this time change. I'm off my A game. I feel tired all the time, but I still can't sleep. It's really strange.
So anyway, that's the latest. What else? So you watched the Chris Rock special?
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about the Chris Rock special.
So what'd you think?
I thought it was so funny. And, I really wanted to hear what he had to say about the slap. But you have to watch the first 10 minutes because he circles back around. So in the first 10 minutes, it's really good. He's talking about selective outrage.
Yeah.
And then he circles back around to Will Smith's selective outrage.
Yes. Yes.
And I thought it was so funny.
I thought it was, it's interesting because I did 2 reactions to Will Smith's. I've done 3 reactions to Will Smith's behavior. Over the years. Oh, you
have?
Yeah, I did one when it came out that they had an open marriage, and I just did do open marriages work reaction.
Hold on. No.
This one.
As the experiment unfolded after the slap.
Yes. What bothers me about Will Smith and what bothers me about Jada Pinkett Smith, is that it's like everybody, all these just blowhards are so confident in their perspective. And Will Smith always has to have a different way of looking at things and doing things, and, his raising his children in a different way. And then he just has to tell everybody about how his way is the best way. I don't necessarily think that open marriages don't work. There's a lot of research saying that they can work. But the foundation of it is you have to both be on the same page 100%. What doesn't work is if one person is wanting you to be faithful and the other one is sleeping with her son's friend.
That
doesn't
accurate?
Work.
It was her son's friend.
Yeah.
So she would be on MILF Manor.
I think she would. Except for she would execute maybe better than the MILFs on the show. So she sleeps with August. I think his name is Augustana, something like that. A rapper that's friends with her son. She ruins this young man's life. I'm spacing the names of the people, but he goes on and gets interviewed by I forget who it was, but goes on and gets interviewed, and he's like, I love her, and we had such a close connection. I'm still thinking about it. He's lost in love with her.
Because he's Meanwhile, 19.
He's like a boy toy to her. I don't know. But then it comes out, and then, Jada wants attention around. I don't know what Jada's doing. She has this red table talk, and I feel like she's not making it in Hollywood. I'm being mean. She wants to be like the next Oprah. So she creates this red table talk where you get to the red table, and that's where you're real serious and real transparent. And that's the whole brand, is you get here, and this is where the truth comes out. So then Jada does an interview with Will and says, essentially, like Chris Rock said, so, hey, I slept with Jaden's friend. How does that make you feel? And put it out there. So, of course, people reacted to it, and people made fun of Will. And I think you have this guy that sees himself as an alpha male, sees himself as always in control. And I think it really hurt him, and he couldn't lash out at her. And so this is the perfect example of displacement, where Will Smith turns around and smacks Chris Rock in an effort to, I think partially in an effort to vent his frustration towards Jada, but also in an effort to demonstrate to the world that he has this strong relationship with her. That was my takeaway. So I was interested to see, how does Chris Rock understand it? And Chris Rock thinks it was pure displacement. That Will was mad at Jada, couldn't deal with it, and so went and smacked him. He was hilarious talking about it.
He was like, the whole world called him a bitch.
You can say bitch on here.
I can. Everyone called him a bitch. 50 Cent called him a bitch, but you don't see him slapping. Yeah, and I mean, going back to that, I think displacement is an accurate diagnosis for that. I was just thinking what was so funny about it, and what I think about is where people also don't know their emotions. So it was displacement, but he doesn't know what he's feeling. He didn't know that he was focusing his outrage of Jada onto Chris, or trying to demonstrate his alpha males. He just had a lot of emotions. They were big emotions.
He had
that
big
came out.
emotions. I think it's interesting that, like, I think, right, there are people in this. I think that he chose to hit Chris Rock because he could, right? He's much bigger than Chris. Chris couldn't hurt him back. I just think it's ironic that he actually picked a guy with the world's biggest mouthpiece, right? Like, it would have been one thing if he went and hit somebody bigger than him and he got punched, right? If he went up and hit Jason Momoa, then Will Smith would have gotten beat up, but it'd be done. That'd be it. What he did was he slapped Chris Rock, and then Chris Rock goes, "Give me a year, buddy." And now we're on Netflix, and the whole world is laughing at you again. Like, this thing is never going to die. My special's hilarious, and you're the butt of the joke. Like, it's a bigger punishment because he picked Chris Rock versus somebody else.
It was just a massively bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to, I think about that flight attendant that got hit in the face by, like, I think he was on United Airlines, and he got hit in the face by, like, a passenger when they were putting up their luggage. And it was like a couple weird things that happened to him on the plane. So he just grabbed a bunch of beers.
I remember this it was the JetBlue.
Flipped everyone off and then went down the slides.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's like not good self-control.
Yeah. Although you have to admit,
self-management.
It's a pretty cool way if you're going to go out, right? That's a pretty cool way to go out.
No, it's not. I think if those explode, like, it's like several $100,000 to fix. So it's not.
You're so practical. No, that's really dangerous.
Well, no, it's not just dangerous. It's like a financial problem for him because it basically, like, it's a way of, like, totaling the aircraft, I think. You know how, like, if airbags deploy, it totals the car. I think it's similar with the aircraft. It's it's like a several $100,000 mistake to do.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Someone might correct me, but
I think the story was, I forget. I feel like he jumped out of the plane, grabbed a couple of Blue Moons, and then jumped out and then, like, went and walked to his car and drove home. And I think what should have happened is Blue Moon should have sponsored him. Right? Hey, it could have been like, hey, whenever you lose control, have a Blue Moon.
I don't know. I don't know if they want to.
All right, I have a listener request that we discuss. Okay. I have a teenage son who has experienced bullying in school. He recently told me that he made an AI friend on a chat site. Now, that isn't the question. My son has been
Artificial intelligent friend?
Yeah.
Like a
like
bot. A bot.
A bot.
Okay.
He's had a relationship with. My son has been in therapy for the past 3 years. However, I would love to hear your thoughts and any research you're aware of on the psychological impacts of AI friendships and relationships on human engagement. What do you think?
Well, I think she wants to hear from a psychologist. I think I have more of the layman's thoughts.
Give me your thoughts. Because I don't. The answer is, in short, I don't have a strong understanding of the research in the area. So my answer will be a layman's answer.
I think my answer for her is that it's not real. It's mathematical equations to give you what you want, just like Netflix, like algorithms. Algorithms to, find things that interest you and connect with you. And it's just not a way to build real relationships. And it's almost scary to me because it's so emotional for the participant that it's like, it could be like mind control because they know the algorithm knows exactly what that kid wants to hear. So it's scary. To me, it's really scary, but I don't know. What do you think? Like they could advertise right to him, like thinking he's his best friend.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it started off. Yeah, so can I just play devil's advocate? So I think so here's what I actually think. I think that it's a real problem. I think it's a real problem because the kid knows that it's fake, and my guess would be that the kid doesn't have any confidence, or it doesn't have much confidence when it comes to human relationships. And so if he's engaging in this and it feels good and he can suspend belief for a little bit, but in the back of his head, he knows it's not real. And so it's not helping him, leave his basement or leave his room and go out and actually interact with people, which is why, like,
or cultivate real relationships, because it's like a coping mechanism. And I'm sorry I interrupted you. I know that was rude. So I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's like the problem with like the online dating and the texting is kids, I think there's some research saying that kids are getting less socially adept, less confident interacting with actual people when they can just text each other. It's the reason, because of porn, sex has dropped like dramatic, something like 30% less sex in this generation than the previous generation because of porn. Like all of this artificial stuff, like sort of meets our needs. And so as a consequence, people don't want it as much. And I would worry about this in that the kid is getting the social needs scratched a little bit. It's long-term probably hurting his confidence because he knows it's not real. And it's enabling him to stay at home and not really have to go out and meet people.
Yeah, and build the uncomfortable muscle.
Right.
Of like the awkwardness when you're first getting to know one. So you'll never there will never be a reason to be uncomfortable to get to the good stuff of a relationship.
Yeah.
Which is true intimacy,
Right.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I would say if she's listening, I would say I would encourage him to create relationships outside of his bot.
So can I play devil's advocate now?
Yeah.
So that's my official position. Official position is that I think that there's some problems, and I would never have thought about, by the way, like the marketing piece. Like if you had you're right that's probably the future of marketing is you have AI bots that not just like on Instagram serve you up ads, but tailor the ad that you're hearing to your interests.
Oh my gosh, I have bots on my phone that send me messages from my apps, and they're like, I feel like they know me. Like my Flow app.
Flow app.
Yeah, Flow app is so cool. I wish I had it when I was younger, but it tracks your cycle. But then it also gives you, it's like, are you feeling irritable today? Because it like knows where you are in your cycle. And I'm always like, yes, I am.
I would like that app on my phone. I'd like a warning shot. Hey, David, you might want to tread lightly these next couple of days.
I recommend it, but I'm always like, oh yeah, I am irritable. Are you feeling sad today? Yes. It's surprisingly accurate. And it's just an algorithm.
Okay, so the devil's advocate is there has been some research where bots can be used to alleviate mental health distress. Right, so if you think about like therapy is a big transition. Can you do therapy over the phone? Can you do therapy over Zoom? And now they're saying, can a bot do therapy? And the answer is yes. At some level, I'm not saying it's as good as regular therapy, but in a pinch, people do like to express themselves to a bot. So if that bot makes them feel better, even though they're suspending belief.
I think I'd like a bot therapist.
You really just move. I feel like the pendulum is swinging here for you.
I do think I'd like a bot therapist
Why?
because I don't think I'd like a real person therapist.
Okay,
I have my own judgments, but bot is basically like if I knew it was a bot and they were just like and you tell me if I'm wrong, but the whole reason people go into therapy is to not have not like a coach, what you do now, but is for you to ask questions for us to find the answers ourselves. I feel like a bot could do that.
Yeah.
And so then I don't have to deal with like any of the shame of a real person knowing who I am on the inside. And a bot, I would feel much better about a bot knowing who I am. I like it.
It's funny because I've heard about it and I go like, that couldn't possibly work. But since you said that, right? So it's like truly no judgment. It is, you are having to write down. I mean, there's journaling or writing or like you have to formalize your emotions to write them down. Like, which is why journaling is helpful. Is you have to take like this mass of emotion and energy and you have to distill it down into something that's you can communicate, and that process is really helpful. You have to do the same thing with a bot. So you're a little bit journaling to a bot that's objective.
Well, the bot has zero judgment.
Right.
Wait, how do I find one of these bots? I'd like a bot.
Hold on. 5 minutes ago, you were like, this is dangerous, and they're going to serve you.
Because I know the bot is not my friend. The bot is...
Well, so does this kid that we're talking about. He knows it's a bot. but it's scratching the social itch.
But okay, yeah, I wouldn't. I think of it differently. Like I'm using, like I was thinking like he was actually trying to use the bot as a friend. The therapist is to help you find answers in life, not like.
It is interesting. Can I interrupt you? It's interesting to me that the pendulum has swung for you, where you're now thinking about a therapy relationship as less intimate than a friendship. But is that what you think? Do you think therapy is more? Do you think therapy is more or less intimate than a friendship?
I don't think I've had enough therapy to have that intimacy that I'm sure your patients have had with you.
But you wouldn't want it.
No, I wouldn't want it.
Why? Tell me why.
Well, number one, I don't know. I think the therapist that I had before, although I did like her, she served a purpose, but I felt like certain judgments from her that I still think about. You know what I mean? And
wait, she had judgments about you.
Yeah.
That you still think about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I'm like really after this. You have to tell me what the judgments were.
I've told you before.
Tell me offline what they were. If you were talking to a bot, the bot would have recalled that also, right? They'd have the log of all the things, and the bot would know, like, oh yeah, I remember that 5 years ago. You said a bot might be a better husband now.
For sure. There's no question.
Come on. I bring a certain value because of, because I'm spacey, right? Keep things interesting. What, yeah, do you have any other thoughts about it? So I guess my side is, I think that it is dangerous, but if your son is experiencing great distress, I probably wouldn't remove the bot.
Yeah.
That's my final conclusion.
Or maybe as an it's an adjunctive to real relationships.
Yeah.
Like make sure he's not just hanging out with his bot, but he's cultivating and building that muscle to build friends, Yeah. Because maybe he does it's a therapist. The bot it's not a friend. Like if I thought about it that way, like he's using it as like a companion.
Yeah.
That helps him find his own answers.
Right.
Just semantics.
But you're right. But now that you're saying it that way, I'm going like, we have dogs. Like people feel very connected to their animals. They can't even talk.
I feel very connected.
Right? You're very connected to your dog. And so there's something about this, right? We anthropomorphize the bot just like we
dogs get mad at us. I mean, dogs still, even though they can't talk, they still have emotions. Like when we leave, Tibble gets mad and poops on the floor. So
yes.
He does have emotions, and there are certain things we have to live up to with him and expectations, whereas with the bot, you don't.
Yes. But you do, I think, the anthropomorphize, am I saying that right? Anthropomorphize both of them, the animal and the bot. Mm-hmm. Right? That's interesting.
Love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic.
I feel like my thoughts, my perspective on that has swung a little bit.
I'd like a bot in my life.
I feel like I'm going to get replaced by a bot now.
Just a notification. Be like, are you feeling irritated today? Be like, yes, I am. How'd you know?
Anything else you think is important to talk about today?
No. That's it.
Well, I love you. Thanks for doing it. All right. Bye.